Hello all and welcome. Today we will be taking a look at clans of Caledonia. We're off to Scotland, folks. We're leading a clan and we are trying to become an economic might. With us producing, trading and exporting a host of goods from whiskey all the way to cheese. Now this one is heavy complexity. It plays 1 to 4, so solo option as well, in about 30 to 120 minutes. Although some of my plays have certainly been on the top end of this range. And we can see the designer and publisher there as well. Let's take a closer look. Okay then, so we are a little way into a game here and we've got the main board, all these different areas and hexes you're trying to get to produce more stuff from your clan. So this particular clan, we're going to be able to sell our milk for 8 when it comes to production. You're going to be trying to get these exported contracts on here if you've got an empty spot and fulfilling those, and hopefully get some VPs at the end as well as some goodies on the way from each one. You're going to be getting these sheep out to be able to produce wool. You've got these cows for milk, and maybe you'll have to slaughter them at some point to be able to fulfill these contracts here. You're hoping to produce cheese, but you'll need milk to do so. If you can't get milk having got the cows out, you could go to the market maybe to buy it and you can sell it as well. You can also go and get grain out, and if you do have production of grain and you built a bakery, you can produce bread. So you've got these processed goods. If you've got a distillery out there, you could then produce whiskey if you've got those out. And then you've got these workers as well that can go on forest locations and mountains as well, which generate you money. So in terms of how a turn is going to work, you literally, the first part is about, where are we? You've turned over the previous round's victory marker. So in this case, we've turned round 1, which would have given us victory points dependent on how many exported contracts of meat we would have had. You will then take your cubes back and then you'll refill these. That's the only point you refill. You then, based on turn order and going clockwise, you are just going to do a host of actions. Number 1, you could trade. You can come to the market here. You could say buy some grain at the price of 4, but you're going to need a merchant for each item you decide to buy or sell. So let's just say we buy 2. We put 2 merchants up here for buying. We pay 4 for each. That's going to cost us 8. And you then move this up 2. So you're not paying each individual increment. It's just that price at the moment. And equally, if someone else came along and said, right, I want to sell 2 of them, you'd sell at 12 and then bring it down 2. And you need the merchants to be able to do that. Now you can never buy and sell and have your merchants on either side of the track during a round. So that is trading, and that's how you're going to get those goods to be able to fulfill these contracts and maybe produce other things like those processed goods. You could just obtain a contract. Now, in the first round, you actually get money for doing so, $5. In second round, it's neutral. And as you go further along these 5 rounds, you are going to be paying potentially up to 15 to attain one of these contracts. And when you fulfill the left-hand side, so you're going to have to slaughter 2 cows in this instance and provide 2 whiskey, you get all these benefits, and these help move either the tobacco or sugarcane or cotton around this track, because at the end, they are going to be worth victory points depending on their location of how many you've acquired. You sometimes get bonuses, so $5 here, and these hops are going to be worth points at the end as well. Now you need a vacant spot to be able to take one, and once you completed that one, you have these face up, have a little stack of them, and then you're able to potentially take another if you can afford to do it. So that is obtaining contracts. You can expand, which is literally paying the cost above the board for which items. So if we want to put the sheep out, it's going to cost us 8. It needs to be adjacent to one of our starting locations. So at the moment, we can maybe pop it here on a grassland. So we're paying 4 for the location itself, plus the 8. We pay 12, and that is expanding. Now, if you do expand next to a neighbour, say we put something next to their sheep, we could have an opportunity to buy that product at a discounted rate, which could be wool in this case. So you can see on the board, 2-player game, you're going to do it up to 4 times if you have the merchants, and you get a 2 reduction, and then you influence the market because you bought, it's going up. So really nice little sneaky action that to take advantage of your neighbouring goods. So that's expanding. You can see, you want to put on these woodland workers out, it's going to cost you 6 plus the location. So if we want to go here, 6 plus the 5 is 10, but we can see there is woodlands on that particular one as well as grasslands. We could upgrade our shipping, so at the bottom on our player board, if you want to start actually getting across to different places besides just building your settlement step by step. So for example, this mountain one here, if they wanted to build over here, you could see you're going to need a lock of 2. Well, it's a size 2. So the first shipping movement allows you to cross rivers, and then as you progress up, we then have the capability here to go 2 spots across. So this really helps you branch out and make the most of these cheaper tiles. And also there's a victory point condition at the end for who has the biggest settlement that's branched out, and I'll go through that shortly. Next thing you can do is upgrade your technology. So these 2 here, if you manage to flip them, you get better money from your workers. You could also upgrade and hire a merchant. So these cost 4. You bring out your merchants here. Gives you more flexibility and capabilities on the market, which can be really handy when you're in a tight squeeze of having to do something. And last, you can also fulfill an export contract. So that is an actual action. You pay all the goods, get all the benefits, done. Keep that aside. And one more thing is just passing. If you literally don't want to do anything else, or you got no more money, you can't do anything else, you move your token here and you get whatever the money is, and that determines player orders. So first to pass will be the starting player next round. Once you've all done your actions, so you do one action, next player, keep going, and once you've exhausted and say you're the last player, blue's passed, red just keeps going. It's like, well, I'll do this, I'll do that, and so on. You then go to production, so everything you physically revealed on your board, you are going to produce. So these guys are going to get money for these and money for these, depending on where the arrow is. If they've upgraded, they may get more money. These are going to get a wool, because they've got a sheep out there, and they're going to give it a trim, and they're going to get money. So the more you reveal, so say if we had this, grain revealed, and we had these cows, they're going to get a milk. So if they had the cheese left open, they could spend the milk to then get the cheese, because that's, you need that milk to produce the cheese. This grain, they get the grain and then they can spend it, or you could spend grain you've purchased from the market on previous rounds to make the bread, because bread is more valuable. You can see you've got your processed goods here and your basic goods there, this line. You can see the values are slowly, well, they're a lot higher there. Okay, so you've done your production. You will then fulfill the victory point bonus for that particular round. They all vary, there's loads of them. Get your VPs, and that is one round done. You then again move it to the next round, flip these, refill them, take your merchants back, and away you go. So once you've completed the 5 rounds, you are scoring up. So on the back of one of these, I'm going to make a right mess here, you're going to get 1 point for each good that you may have. That is a basic good. So your milk and your grain and your wool there. 2 points if you have any of these processed goods left over. 1 point for each 10 money, and the victory points you've attained throughout the game as well. Each of these hops, so on these export tiles, you can see you're going to get 1 point for that hop there. You are then going to calculate, okay, so you've been doing these contracts throughout the game, and you can see it's probably going to be something like, a bit further up. Whichever has been the most popular good traded, so in this case sugarcane, it's actually going to be worth the least points. And it's only marginally, but it does make a difference with the multiplier. So that'll be worth 3 points. This cotton here will be worth 4 points. And this tobacco will be worth 5 points. Depending on how many symbols you've attained through these completed contracts, you'll multiply the victory point times how many you've got, and that is a big bulk of your VPs. You then, whoever has had actually completed the most contracts, gets some points as well, and second place in the 2-player game gets nothing. You then get connection points. So what's this all about then? So at the moment, depending on your shipping capabilities, these guys have one settlement here, because it's divided by a river. They've got another settlement here, another one here, and these 2 connected on land are another settlement. Now, you can see their capabilities. They've upgraded throughout the game. They can move up to 2 shipping on the lock. So, and they can also pass rivers already. So this one is actually connected to that because they've got the capabilities. So that's 1. Connected to that is 2. Then they've also got the capability to go 2 locks away. So that's connected for 3. And then this is connected for 4. Now, if all these just happen to sort of be like this, that's just 1 settlement. And whoever has the most of these settlements, and they're all connected up with this capability, is going to get VPs as well. In a 2-player game, it's 12 for first, 0 for being second. Add up all your VPs. Whoever has the most is the winner. And there's a few extra little things on the side. You've got some bonuses on the side here if you can attain them. Once you have, you put one of your tokens down to say you've utilised it. Someone else can go there as well, but you can only use that once. You've got that neighbouring action as well. So when you go next to someone, you get those goods cheaper. And that's pretty much it. You're just trying to get as much production as you can, fulfill these contracts to get those, better chance of multiplying at the end. And some of them have nice little bonuses on, like you can, upgrade one of these onto the board and not pay the cost of the actual tile itself. So loads to think about. And the way the streamline actions go, right, I'm going to trade, done. Oh, you're going to expand, done. Love it. Okay, there we are. Enjoy.